A friend posts that their child just got accepted into a prestigious university. An old classmate shares photos of their new house, their new car, or a vacation in a place you've never been. A colleague gets praised, promoted, or recognized. You smile, you leave a kind comment. Have you ever felt this before? But deep down, something quietly sinks in your heart. A strange unspoken feeling as if their joy is somehow reminding you of what you lack. You're not jealous. You're not bitter. You're just human. And this feeling, it's more common than most of us admit. We're taught that we should be happy for others. We're told it's the right thing to do, but no one teaches us how to truly rejoice in someone else's happiness without shrinking our own sense of worth. That's why I made this video, not to shame that feeling, but to offer a new perspective, a perspective rooted in Buddhist wisdom, in a kind of joy that's rarely spoken about today. Mudita, the joy of seeing others happy, no comparison, no envy, no shrinking of the self, just genuine happiness for others and peace in your own path. If you've ever felt your heart quietly dim when someone else was shining, stay with me. You might discover you were never missing anything. You just needed a new way to see others without losing sight of yourself. Part 2, why we feel smaller when others shine and how to rewrite that story. Let's be honest with ourselves. Sometimes you genuinely want to feel happy for someone, but your heart sinks just a little. It's not because you don't want them to be happy. It's because their joy somehow reminds you of what you don't have. We grow up in a world that teaches us to compare from a very young age. Grades, trophies, titles, and then the invisible metric social status, income, likes follows. Over time, our mind forms an invisible ruler. If they have more, it must mean I am less. And one day you look around and see, they just bought a new house. You're still renting. They're sending their kids to private school. You're struggling with monthly tuition. They're traveling the world. You're just hoping for a quiet weekend at home. You smile at their joy, but inside a quiet voice whispers, "What about me?" Then comes the trap, the illusion of scarcity, the belief that success is like a pie. If someone else gets a slice, there's less left for you. But that's not how life works. Success isn't scarce. Joy isn't limited. Their light doesn't dim yours, only comparison does. And beneath all of this is a deeper fear. Maybe I'm not enough, not talented enough, not fast enough, not valuable enough. And every time someone else achieves something, that old ache stirs again. But here's the truth. It's not others who make you feel small. It's the story you tell yourself when you see them shine. And if it's just a story, you can learn to rewrite it. Part 3, Mudita, the joy that frees you from comparison and insecurity. What would happen if you could truly feel happy for others without feeling any less about yourself, without feeling left behind, without that nagging sense of I'm not enough? You'd feel lighter, you'd stop criticizing yourself, and strangely, you might start shining too in your own quiet, grounded, beautiful way. This is the power of Mudita, a unique kind of joy that Buddhist teachings describe as non-attached joy from the heart. Mudita is what happens when you see someone happy and you feel genuinely happy for them. Not because you're trying to be positive, not because you're pretending, but because their joy no longer feels like a threat to your own. Imagine this, you see someone succeed, and instead of shrinking, you quietly smile and think, how wonderful the universe is still giving good things to people. And maybe one day, something good will come my way too. Mudita doesn't take anything away from you. It liberates you from the exhausting cycle of comparison and unworthiness. It opens a new path, one where you don't have to compete to grow. You can grow peacefully, and the most beautiful part, Mudita is not reserved for monks or spiritual masters. It's not a secret skill. It's a capacity like patience, forgiveness, or gratitude that can be cultivated gently day by day. Start small. When someone shares good news, silently wish for more blessings to come their way. When you see success, try asking if they can do it, Could I too? When your heart starts comparing, pause and remember, their happiness doesn't make me smaller. I'm just learning how to be happy in my own way. Mudita doesn't deny pain. It simply chooses not to let pain turn into bitterness. It is an act of quiet courage and a soft, powerful declaration that says, I choose freedom. I choose not to lose myself when others shine. Part 4. 5 ways to practice mudita so that others' joy doesn't make you feel small. At this point, you might still feel some part of you comparing. Maybe you haven't shaken off that quiet sting of watching someone else achieve what you're still dreaming of. And that's completely okay. You don't have to force yourself to feel positive right away. You just need to begin with one small step. Because mudita, the joy of seeing others happy, isn't about pretending or pleasing others. It's a new habit, one you can gently cultivate day by day. Here are 5 simple ways to start nourishing mudita in your everyday life without abandoning the truth of how you really feel. Acknowledge the feeling without judgment. If you feel that tug in your heart, pause and breathe. Gently tell yourself, I'm feeling sad, and that's okay. Accepting your emotion doesn't make you weak, it helps you heal. 2. Shift your thought from envy to learning. Instead of thinking I'm falling behind, try asking, what can I learn from them? Curiosity can lead you out of comparison. 3. Offer silent blessings. Whenever you see someone happy, try whispering, may you always be at peace. This blessing isn't for them, it's a gift to your own heart. 4. Return to what you already have. A good meal, a kind friend, a restful night's sleep. You don't need much, just a moment to return to what's already enough. 5. Remind yourself, I am worthy too. You don't need grand achievements. You don't need to outshine anyone. You just need to quietly remind yourself each day, I am worthy, I am already on my path. The story of Sandy Brown. When the best choose joy for others at the World Athletics Championships, where the fastest runners on earth come to compete, all eyes were on the men's 200-meter semifinal. On the track stood Noah Lyles, the American favorite, running with incredible form. Right beside him was Abdul Hakim Sani Brown, a young determined sprinter from Japan with Ghanaian roots. Both gave it everything. Lyles not only won, he broke his personal record. Sani Brown also crossed the finish line with everything he had, but he was just 0.01 seconds too slow. And just like that, he was eliminated from the final. In elite sports, missing out by 0.01 seconds is brutal. No one would blame you for staying silent, bowing your head, or walking away quietly. But instead, Sani Brown ran straight to Noah. Lyles embraced him, smiled brightly, and offered his congratulations, pure and genuine. No forced politeness, no envy, no bitterness, just a sincere joy in witnessing something beautiful, even if it didn't happen to him. Later, when asked about it, Sani Brown simply said, I knew I didn't make the final, but I witnessed something incredible, and I'm happy I got to be there beside it. This is mudita. Not in theory, but in a real-life moment, a moment where emotions could have easily turned inward and closed off. But instead, Sani Brown opened his heart, not because he was weak, but because he was grounded in his own path. If you've ever watched someone go ahead, reach something you've been striving for and felt a sting in your heart, remember this. You don't have to be jealous to protect your worth. You just need to learn how to celebrate without losing yourself. Just like Sani Brown, who may not have won in the traditional sense, but who won something far greater in the way he chose to respond to another person's success. There's a quiet truth we don't often say out loud. Sometimes we don't feel happy when others are happy, not because we're unkind, but because the human heart can be so tender, especially in silence. We compare, we criticize ourselves. We quietly count the things we're still missing every time someone else gets what we're still hoping for. But here's what I want you to remember. You don't have to be jealous. You don't have to fake joy while your heart is aching. You can choose a different path. The path of mudita, where you don't pretend to be positive, but you learn to open your heart without losing yourself. Mudita isn't something you learn from a book. You only learn it by trying gently, patiently, one small step at a time. Try pausing for 3 seconds when someone shares their joy. Try whispering a silent blessing. Try asking, what can I learn from them? Try remembering, what do I already have today? And soon you'll see, they're not shining to make you feel small. You're simply learning to see light through a new lens,